Today I wanted to create a component which will display a component at a tab level, a component at a lightning tab. So what I mean, if I go to tabs, I wanted to create a lightning tab. I wanted to create a lightning component tab. Here you have a lightning component tab. I wanted to create this lightning component tab. But generally, we have one component which we created yesterday, my first component. But that is not available, you can see. Because in yesterday's component, we never implemented anything. We just created a component, we saw output at a Apex application level. But have we implemented any interfaces? We didn't implement it. Interfaces in the sense, let me go open resources. Why I'm going open resources? Let's go open lightning resources. Here I have two components available. One is application, one is component. So now I am opening my component. Open selected. Have I implemented anything here? We don't have any implementation. We just created some component. We're trying to utilize. But actually this is not applicable for a tab. If we want to use lightning component, we need to implement as lightning tab. There is implementation called lightning tab. So let's go and create a normal one. Let's say new lightning component. What is the component in? Account search. Account search. This is an header component to do account search based on name. Here you have interface called lightning tab. Submit. Now you can see implemented force app hostable. Force app hostable. This is the implementation. Force colon app hostable is an implementation interface which will enable component as a lightning tab. So let's say go back. I'm just refreshing here. We'll see. We got anything here? Why we are getting BFRT? This is your namespace. BFRT is the namespace which we created, whereas generic namespace of a lightning component is C. Generic namespace is C. If you implemented your own components, BFRT is your namespace. Account search is my tab name. Dice. Next. Default save. What is our tab name? Account search. Account search. In Classic, what we have all tabs like a plus icon, right? But here we don't have a plus icon. We have to use app launcher. This is called app launcher. For everything, if you want to change your apps, you need to click here. If you want to switch the tabs, you need to go here. App launcher for everything, as like a menu for everything at one place. You have account search here. If you want to add this to tab, right click, add to account navigation bar. This is not a tab menu. The one you are seeing is not a tab menu. This is navigation bar. In Lightning,
Navigation bar.
In Classic, it is a tab menu. Accounts, opportunities, all the tabs, and the menu is called tab menu. In Classic, it was renamed to navigation bar. Add to navigation bar. What happened? This will add to navigation bar directly. Account search. You don't have anything now. So let me go back and I'll add. I am good. Why you are not getting any values directly? Here I added some text. So if you are working with Lightning component, I preferred in a developer environment to do this setup. I preferred in doing this setup. What happened? I saved this component, but it is not refreshing here. It is not refreshing here. The reason behind Lightning component is a client-side application. Lightning component is a client. Whenever you refresh, you try to refresh from a local history first, cache. Then only it will connect to the server. But now my server information has been updated, but client doesn't know. It is only happens when you are developing component. For a real-time environment, it won't be a problem because you never changed a code there. Here you will be changing. So either you have a two options called inspect elements. All you need to go to inspect elements. Now you have option called empty cache and hard reload. Empty cache and hard reload. Still it is not. Account search only, right? Yes, account search. Fine. So let me go to session management, session settings. Here you have a cache. In session settings, or yeah. In session settings, you have an option called enable secure content delivery. Enable secure and persistent browser cache to improve performance. This is saying that if it is local history available, use that instead of loading again to improve the performance. We need to uncheck. Only for a developer environment, not for a production. When you are developing things, you need to refresh so fast because you will change so much, you can't wait that much time. So you can change this. Say, now you got it. I'm good. Now you got it. I'm good. But this is something different. Now what we need to do? We need to have a. This is fine. Is this looking good backside? This is not looking good, right? So Salesforce is also provided Salesforce design system. Salesforce design system. Get slds.com. What is that URL? Get slds is a subdomain. Now it will take you to the Lightning design system. It's the same thing. If you refresh, it will change the URL. It will go to the directly. All you need to, what you needed now, you need utilities. Go to utilities. Even you need to understand how to use this. And then what you need, everything before if you want, you need to have a card. Card. SLDS card. Show code. Copy. I don't need this much. Let's say article card. SLDS card is a style. SLDS card is a style. SLDS is a card. Now you can see. Whenever you enter, that white will come back now. You have that white color, right? That will be aligned automatically. That will be aligned automatically. Now let's see. Yesterday we discussed about attributes, right? Attribute. What is the attribute? Attribute is a local variable for a Lightning component to store your values. How to comment in Lightning component? This is how you will comment. Attributes are local variables. This is how you will comment in Lightning components. Aura attribute name equal to AC name type string. What is the description? This is only for a reason, is nothing but a comment for that variable. Why you are using this variable. Description is an option. Description is an optional to create a variable. Where default is also an optional to create a variable. The first three parameters are mandate to create a attribute. Mandate to create an attribute. Now what I will say? Now I need a search bar. I don't want to see this is one. I need to see a search bar. I need to have a input text. So for that, let's go back. Let's go back. Do we have any component called lightning input set? Developer.host.com dot component library dot components. There is a doc library. These URLs are important to work with lightning components. This is a library you need to use. Doc slash component library slash overview slash component. Here you need to say components, lightning components we have. Lightning. In lightning we need to have a text field, right? And we'll see is there any text field available. Input field is there. We have input field. Or do we have anything else? No, it is not available. So let's go with the lightning input field. Now you will get description how to use and all this stuff. You will get a no input lightning input, sorry. This is how you will do. There is a team called input. Label, enter a date, type date. Lightning input. But type is ours text, not a input. SSL search key. Enter search for accounts. Search for accounts. You have this. Now I can search. I don't need label. I need placeholder. What is difference between placeholder and label? Placeholder will come within the text field. Like this it will come. If you keep, it will go off. Generally you can see in websites, right? Enter your email, enter your phone. Whenever you start typing, it will go off. More than the label, it looks good. More than the label, it looks good. Search. Now what I need to do? Whenever I search, I need to display that search key. So we'll see what is the difference between whatever I am searching. Let's say v dot search key. Sorry, v dot AC name. Here I can also pass value. V dot search name. What I am doing, whatever I am searching, it will store in a attribute called AC name and it will refresh here. We'll see. Default is blank. Dynamic binding is happening. Why this is happening, This is because of render.js. This is because of we didn't created anything, but a default some functionality will exist. That default functionality will refresh the component. Whenever there is a change in the attribute value, it automatically affects every place. It automatically affects every place within the component. Clear? You didn't use. Standard render is already there. The Lightning component framework standard render functionality which is there. If we want to override, then you have to update render. అర్థమైందా ఆల్రెడీ రెండర్ జేఎస్ అనే ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఆల్రెడీ ఉంది దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే ఎప్పుడైనా వాల్యూ కానీ చేంజ్ చేస్తే ఒక అట్రిబ్యూట్కి అది ఎక్కడెక్కడ రెఫర్ అవుతుందో అక్కడ అంతా అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది అది స్టాండర్డైజ్డ్ లేదు నేను ఓవర్ రైట్ చేయాలంటే అండ్ దెన్ యూ నీడ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఎ రెండర్ డాట్ జేఎస్ కోడ్ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ కోడ్ జనరలీ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆస్క్ మీ ఆర్ వి రియలీ మాడిఫైయింగ్ రెండర్ డాట్ జేఎస్ వీఆర్ నాట్ Actually, we are not modifying any render.js. We are actually working with only helper and controller, not with render.js. Now, let's say I am removing this value. I am removing this value. I am removing this value. Now tell me. Huh? V means? V, if you want to refer any component variable or attributes, you need to use v dot. You need to use v dot. Let's say lightning input over lightning okay. Now I need to have a button. Now I'll create one button here. What is the lightning button I can create? And we'll go and we'll see what is the button I have. Button. If you see lightning, it means you need to keep lightning and then you have a button. Lightning button. Lightning button, neutral, and I'm using brand. Brand means blue color it will come. Brand means blue color. On click I'm removing. Account search. You got here. Right. Whenever I click, whenever I change anything, it will come. Title will come on mobile way. If you are using this in a mobile application, then labels will not come, only titles will come. On hover, there is a title here. On hover, there is a title, you can see. Account search. But in mobile, let me go back to the mobile view. Inspect elements. Responsive. Galaxy S5. This is mobile application now. Okay. If you are using this in a mobile responsive, that time title will display more than the labels. Now, what happened? Whenever I click, I need to let me go to the controller. I'm going back to the controller. My action is my method name. So what I will do, I'll write on click. On click. As I said, if you want to refer anything in the component variable, you need to refer v dot. If it is a controller, then you need to refer c dot. Then you need to refer c dot component my action. I'll keep an alert. Inside method. Here double quotes. JavaScript you need to write double quotes. Remember that. Apex classes is single quote. JavaScript is double quotes. Now go back and refresh. Set inside method. It means whenever I click, it is calling that method. Now, what I need to read a variable what is there in the search key. What is there in the search key? How to get? So here you need to pass an ID. What ID? Aura colon ID. In Visual Force you generally refer just ID, right? Here you need to put Aura colon ID. You need to keep Aura colon ID. Search key. So if you have ID, what you need to do? What I will do, I will say that, hey, ID is search key. What you will do? You have a 2000 line of code. I will say, just modify ID search key to something else. Search key to. What you will do? I asked you to modify search key value to key search. What you will do? If I asked you to override something, modify something in any document, what you will do? Generally, we will find that keywords first, right? Control F, find it, and then search for that key and replace the value. This is what we do. First, what we are trying to, before getting or reading any value, we are trying to find. We are trying to find based on that ID. So, in Lightning component is also same. First, you need to find where input key equal to component. Why component? Because I am referring here component. If it is a CMP, I will use CMP. Component dot find. Only ID. Now I got that entire component. I got that entire component in the sense this entire tag. In that tag, what I need? In that tag only I need value. I need only value. So you can see where input val equal to input key dot get v dot value. Input key dot v dot value. Alert. Entered text is input val. Your entered text is input val. Refresh. Inside method. You got it? Again, I am going back. Why we are using find key? Because we need to get a value from this component. This can be identified using ID of a component. Once the key is identified successfully, and then we are reading that value by using a method called get.v.value. Because whatever details you are getting in this, it will come in a map key value pair concept, where v.value is a key to get value of that information. Let's say, I don't know whether I will get name or not, but I'll try. v.name. I'll try, but I'm not too sure whether this is possible. This will be coming or not, but I'm checking. Search key. You are getting, yeah, that because here what I'm doing, I'm trying to retrieve name. I'm trying to retrieve name. I'm trying to retrieve placeholder. I'm trying to retrieve placeholder. Whatever the details you have in that attribute, right, it will be mapped like a key value field. So once this component is available as a map, and then you can pass your key to get a value. That is what we are doing here. That is what we are doing here. Search for accounts. This is what we have in a placeholder. Let's say I modified. Now what is the placeholder? Search for a placeholder will always exist, but it won't display when you enter anything. Clear? It's easy to understand what it is v dot get is doing. Whatever you have, if you need Aura ID, I don't know Aura ID will come. Name, type, whatever you define within the tag.
Value is not there.
No value. If you define, it's fine. If it is not defined, it will take blank. See, value is something how you will define. This is how we define now. If you don't mention the attribute there, it means that it's a blank. By default, it's a blank. Without the without value, there is no input text, right? If I want to enter something, I need a space. That space is nothing but a value. Clear how we are finding the value? Now the question is that I need to enter here. You are searching for a count. Name starts with. I need to display something like this. Let's say is this really looking good now? Below. I'm not searching anything, but it is still displaying you are searching for an account, which is not a good idea, right? Which is not a good idea. Here you have a condition called Aura if is true. What is true? V dot ACC name not equal to null. V dot SSC say I need to display this content only if the V dot SSC not equal to null. Now you can see this will not gonna display because it is a null. Because this, now what I need, whenever I entered a value and I search, I need to update. How can I update? Now I need to assign whatever I am entering here, I need to assign this value to my component, right? If we want to assign any value from controller to a component, you need to use component dot set v dot that variable name, attribute name, comma your value, refresh. Oil search. Have we did any render, re-rendered something? We did it here. You don't even bother about the variables how the component need to display. Just change the values. Automatically, the Salesforce render.js will handle for you everything. How to refresh the data. If I don't want to refresh this data, then you need to use render.js so that you can override. If you don't want to override, then you can use normally. What we did it here, using ID, what we get? We got search key. Search key is an ID. From that, we read value. Whatever we are getting a value, that is we are assigning back to component attribute. That we are assigning back to component attributes. Clear? Clear or not? Any doubts in this? Yeah, tell me.
v.ACC name function name.
v.ACC name. ACC name is an attribute name. not equal to ಇದೆ ಇದೆ ಇದು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ చేస్తున్నాం ఇది just to display value, just to display that value. It's nothing but it will display the value anywhere we can keep, so that whatever the ACC value contains it just displays here. Let's say I'm just doing Shiva. What happens? It just displays the value, that's it. Shiva. Just to display within the double quotes, that's it. Whatever they enter, you are entering, that is what we are doing there. Clear? Lightning component is very easy. Once you understand the structure, it is very easy. Let's overview what we did it today. We did very simple component using, we understand how to read a value from a lightning component to a controller using IDs. Get an component details using ID. Get a value from the component.
Control you need to create automatically itself.
You can change this. If you want the next function, all you need to come on, you can get. For a first method, they will give. Either you can change this one. Let's say search SSC. You can change this. That won't be a problem. You can change the controller names, but it doesn't matter. But ensure that it should be contained within these brackets.
The component event helper.
We'll go step by step. It have a concept. First we need to understand this. Component helper in the sense, let's say helper. Component, I am just taking component. ACC search helper. Helper dot SSC helper. We need to pass component for there. Component. And now you can able to reuse this method so many places. You can able to reuse this method for so many places. If this method is defined here, you can't reuse. But here you can able to reuse. But functionality remains same. It's a method. I mean, the way you do implementation. Okay, Shiva is there because I just mentioned here. Now what I am doing, I am cross calling my actual functionality in a helper, not on controller. Controller is just interface between helper and component. But component action will never gonna invoke directly the helper methods. Component can only invoke rendered or controllers. If you want to invoke helper, you need to utilize either render.js or a controller.js. Such. But now code is actual functionality is lying down in a helper.js. It is not there in the controller. It is there in the, but what controller is doing is just an interface to call that method. It is just an interface to call that method. Let's say control set, copy, clear search. I am saying clear search. How to clear search? How to do a clear search? All you need to see, we have all this functionality. Let's say this one. But here we need to get a value or assign a value now. Clear search means. Clear search means you need to remove a data, right? Clear search means you need to remove data. Instead of input.get value, you can see input key dot set v dot value comma null, and acc dot name equal to clear search helper dot clear search. And clear means destructive. Destructive is just a color purpose. You can use anything, no matter what. Just using this. On click, I need to call my clear search functionality. Clear search. Title. Clear. Clear. Save. Refresh. I am save. If I say clear, it means it becomes blank and it also need not to be displayed. But actually what happened here, you are giving not equal to blank I kept, but here what happening, it is taking something else. What I mentioned in the aura.if condition, I'm mentioning not equal to blank. I'm mentioning not equal to blanks, but that is not accepting. But it's not accepting. Reason behind null and that value is different. Null value and that value is different. V dot. You don't want to refer this always. One time is fine. V dot acc name not equal to null. And having something issue here. This is a way to keep her. And the symbol should be something different, some NSB, something we need to use. This is not working for us. Okay. We did a mistake. We need to use A and D, small a and d. Case sensitive. Case sensitive. Lightning component is a case sensitive. Either blank or null, it will throw error to you. It will not display that line. Search. What we did it now here in the helper, I am finding my value and I am assigning that value to null. Here I am reading a value. Here I am reading a value dot get. Here I am saying dot set. Set the value for that. Set value to null. And then I am also making component dot set value and the attribute name also to be null. Whenever it becomes null, what happened? Because of the if condition, it will not display this line. Because the value becomes null, placeholder will come out.